It's 8:47 p.m. The bath is done, the book has been read 3 times, the fan is on, the hallway light is off, and your toddler is finally horizontal in their bed. Their eyes are heavy. Their breathing is starting to slow. You think for one optimistic second that you might actually pull this off tonight. And then their hand reaches across the mattress and finds yours. Tiny fingers wrap around your index finger like they've done it 100 times. Or maybe it's a foot pressed into your thigh, or a forehead settled against your shoulder. There has to be skin somewhere, some part of them touching some part of you. Otherwise, the eyes pop open and a small, half-asleep voice says, "Mama, are you still here?" You wait. 5 minutes. 10. You start to slide your hand away, one careful millimeter at a time. The grip tightens. They are not even fully awake, and they know. So you stay. Again. Maybe for another 20 minutes, maybe for an hour. And somewhere in the back of your mind, the same quiet question floats up. Why do they have to be touching me to fall asleep? Other kids do this on their own. Have I done something wrong? Most parents who find themselves in this exact moment have already heard the same handful of things from the internet, from books, from well-meaning relatives. Your toddler is spoiled. You've created a bad habit. They need to learn to self-soothe. Set the limit. Walk out of the room. Let them figure it out. But the research on toddler sleep, on attachment, and on the way a developing brain regulates itself paints a very different picture from the one most parents have been handed. Most parents don't realize that the toddler who needs to be touching them to fall asleep is doing something biologically specific, something their nervous system is wired to do, something that has very little to do with willpower, manipulation, or habit, and everything to do with a brain that is, in this exact moment, still under construction. There are 5 things happening inside your toddler's body and brain when their hand finds yours in the dark. 5 reasons the contact is not optional. We're going to go through each one. And the 5th one, the one almost no one talks about, is the one most parents wish they'd understood years earlier. Here's what's actually happening. 1. The off switch in their brain has not been built yet. Your toddler has 2 brains, in a sense. There is the lower brain, the part that handles instinct, fear, alarm, and the big feelings that arrive without warning. And there is the upper brain, the part that handles reason, calm, and the ability to talk yourself down from a ledge of panic. Dr. Dan Siegel, the developmental neuroscientist who wrote The Whole Brain Child, calls these the downstairs brain and the upstairs brain. Here is what most parents are never told. The upstairs brain, the part that calms the downstairs brain, is not finished. It will not be fully wired with all of its connecting pathways myelinated until your child is in their mid-20s. For a 1, 2, 3, or 4-year-old, the calming circuit is still being installed room by room, year by year. So how does a toddler regulate? They borrow yours. When their hand wraps around your finger at 8:47 p.m., they are not asking for a habit. They are asking for the part of the brain that they cannot yet run on their own. You are the off switch. You are not supposed to be one forever, but for now, in the dark, in their bed, you are. 2. Their nervous system uses your body as a metronome. Researchers have known for decades that close physical contact between a child and a regulated adult produces something called physiological synchrony. The child's heart rate begins to mirror the parent's, their breathing slows to match, their cortisol, the stress hormone that keeps the body alert, drops within minutes of skin-to-skin contact. The late Dr. Tiffany Field's touch research documented this across hundreds of trials, in newborns, in infants, and in toddlers. Have you ever noticed how your toddler exhales fully and deeply the second their head touches your chest? That is not coincidence. That is one nervous system finding another and using it as a tuning fork. When you slide your hand away too early, their body loses the rhythm. The breathing speeds up, the heart rate climbs, the eyes open. They are not being dramatic. The metronome stopped, and their internal music went out of time. They are reaching, half asleep, for the steady beat that lets the rest of their body settle. 3. Falling asleep is the most vulnerable moment of their day. This is the part most adults forget. Sleep is not a small thing for a toddler. Sleep means letting go of vigilance. It means giving up the ability to track the room, to track you, to know what is happening. For a being who has only been on this planet for 2 or 3 years, that is an enormous act of trust. Object permanence, the understanding that a person who walks out of the room still exists in some other room, is something the researchers at 0 to 3 and decades of developmental work show is still consolidating well into the 3rd year. When your toddler closes their eyes and you are not touching them, some part of their developing brain genuinely cannot verify that you are still there. Touch is the unbroken signal. As long as your finger is in their hand, the line is open. They can let go of consciousness because the connection has not gone dark. That is not weakness, and it is not clinginess. That is a small person doing the bravest thing they will do all day and asking for one quiet piece of evidence to make it possible. 4. They are rehearsing the architecture of every relationship they will ever have. The repeated, predictable experience of needing closeness and receiving it is what the attachment researcher John Bowlby called the internal working model. It is the brain's quiet, accumulating conclusion about how relationships work. Are people there when I need them? Is the world safe? Will the person I love keep showing up, even at 2 a.m., even when I am tired, even when nothing is on fire? Every night your toddler falls asleep with their hand in yours, they are not just falling asleep. They are laying down a template. The neural architecture for trust, for partnership, for the future ability to ask for help without shame is being built in those quiet, dark, nothing is happening minutes. This is not a habit you are creating. It is a person you are wiring. And here is something Dr. Becky Kennedy, the clinical psychologist behind Good Inside, points out gently to parents who worry they are doing too much. A child whose needs are met early does not become more dependent. They become more capable of independence later. The closeness now is the ticket to the confidence later, not the obstacle to it. 5. They are telling you that you are home. This is the part nobody puts in a sleep training book. Your toddler could technically fall asleep next to other people, a grandparent, a trusted babysitter, another adult who is kind and warm and safe. And sometimes they will. But there is a specific, irreplaceable quality to the way they relax when it is you. The way the shoulders drop, the way the breathing finally evens out, the way the small body, after a long day of holding itself together, finally goes soft. Their nervous system has been calibrating to you since before they could see your face clearly, your smell, your voice, the rhythm of your walk down the hallway, the way you say their name when nothing is wrong, and the way you say it when something is. All of it has been building one quiet conclusion in the back of their developing brain. This person is home. When their hand finds yours at 8:47 p.m., they are not asking you to fix anything. They are not testing a limit. They are confirming, the way they confirm 100 small things a day, that the safest place in the world is still right where they think it is. That is the message. That is what they are really telling you. So tonight, when the bath is done and the book has been read 3 times and the small hand reaches for yours across the mattress, you can take a breath. You have not created a bad habit. You have not made them too dependent. You have not failed at sleep training. You are doing the thing the developing nervous system was designed to ask for, in exactly the way it was designed to ask for it. The toddler who needs to be touching you to fall asleep at 2 will not need it at 12. The need fades. The wiring stays. What you are giving them in those quiet minutes is not just sleep. It is a deep, body-level memory of what safety feels like. The kind of memory that becomes the floor of a person's life. So stay a little longer if you can. Let the small fingers stay wrapped around yours. There will be a night, sooner than feels possible, when they no longer reach across the mattress for your hand. Until then, you are not building a bad habit. You are building a person who knows what safe feels like.